I told Imogen I might do that, and she begged me not to, but we got away with Thomas doing it. So the kids just want to say thank you first, and then I'll share a couple of thoughts to them. So bear with us for 1 second.
I also want to say that it's really good to be back again, and it's a really generous and thoughtful amount of money that you've given us today and all the other times. I really enjoyed doing the Wire for Hope this year, and I'll definitely be doing it again for many years to come. I'd also like to say that there's only 12 weeks to the Christmas fair.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Imogen, Thomas's sister. I just wanted to say thank you for all the support that you've given us throughout Thomas's cancer, and that I'm also very excited for the Christmas party.
So I always say it's impossible to thank you enough. It really is very difficult to share with you how important this financial contribution is. We can't survive without your support. We are incredibly grateful to you for this. The fact that it comes with so much love and emotional support, and I know we just feel like we're part of your family, and that is a wonderful feeling. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I mentioned earlier that I travel a bit with my work, and in my quiet moments on a plane somewhere when I'm really homesick and missing my wife and kids and I'm feeling a bit low, I have a film clip of Beck, and I think it's Matteo, singing the Christmas carols from 2 years ago, and I put my earphones in and I listened to that, and I think the song is called Hear My Prayer, or something similar, and it really lifts me up, it inspires me, and it makes me feel, takes me back into that moment of feeling all that edge love, and it really lifts me up. So it probably only happens 6 or 7 times a year, but every time it makes me feel really special and brings me back to being part of you, and I'm very grateful. And again this morning, the singing just touches my heart. It's a really special thing, and it's another great part of Edge. I often talk to you about Thomas over the years. I've talked to you a lot about Thomas's journey and what it's like for a parent of a child with cancer, and what it's been like for him, because I want you to understand what it feels like for us when we go through this journey. But I want you to understand that it's not about Thomas. Sometimes I talk about him, and I don't want you to think, I'm just about my little boy. Every year in South Australia, there's about 75 kids are diagnosed, about 15 relapse, it means their cancer comes back, and about 10 tragically pass away. We support all of those, and we support them for years to come. So it means we support 400 or 500 kids, plus their families all the time. And I'm really lucky. You heard my kids speak. They're beautiful, well-mannered, they're loving, they're best friends, they're great kids. I'm really blessed. I have a great wife and have a good job, and we're very lucky. But there's kids out there who are diagnosed with this, who are doing it a lot tougher than we are. There's kids that, first of all, kids who don't win their battle, who lose their battle, which it just doesn't bear thinking about. But there's also, Kath told me about a mum that she met a few years ago who had 3 kids. One was suffering with autism, one was regularly truant from school, and the third one, her baby, was diagnosed with cancer. And she's a single mum in a poor, tough area in Adelaide. And I think, so when I think about what we should do, and when we talk about our strategy and our plans and the services we offer, I try to think about people like her and her kids and what we should be doing to support them. And then Ben Mead, who's my vice president on the board of the association, his daughter Holly spoke at a function a couple of years ago. She spoke when she was in the middle of treatment and she'd lost some of her hair, and she gave a beautiful speech, and the crowd was very generous in their applause. And then the next year she came back and she spoke again. And she said, this year I'm back, and this year 2 things are different. She said the first thing that's different is my hair's grown back, and she pulled her hat off and she had the beautiful brown curly hair, and she's a lovely kid, and everybody cheered and clapped, and it was a really great moment. And then she said, the other thing that's changed is last year when I was here, I had 2 friends with me. This year one of them's in hospital and the other one's in heaven. So when you give us this support, you support that little girl who passed away right the way through her battle to the end, and you support her family, We even support them with the funeral, and we still support them with bereavement care. And you support Holly and her family. So you support hundreds and hundreds of children. So I talk about Thomas as a representation of all of those children. And I don't want to lose sight of how important that is. Even this morning, Anna, our family services manager, who's one of our psychologists, is out supporting a family in person right now in those beautiful offices that you renovated for us. So it's ongoing all the time. The family services program, the family visits to the psychology visits to the hospital are critically important. Been in the hospital a lot of times, and you see the psychologist walk into the ward, and the whole mood in the place changes. There's kids there or families there who think are desperate to speak to one of the counsellors, and they'll jump up and make a beeline for them and talk to them. There's others that just give them a wave and say, "I'm good this week, but I'll see you next week." But the whole mood lifts because they know the counsellors are there. They're there Monday to Friday, every day of the year, every day of the week, year round, to offer that support. And it's critically important. Thomas and I have both had time with the counsellors. I still talk to one of our counsellors fairly regularly so I can keep on track and be the kind of dad and husband that I want to be, because it's a tough battle. That service, which this money is earmarked for, is critical to what we do. So we offer 30 different services, 30 plus different services. But that counselling and that hospital visitation program is the core of what we do. It's the most important thing we do, and this is what that money is going to go towards. So it's very important. So I'm incredibly grateful to you. I don't really know how to express it, but my heart is full of joy and gratitude, gratitude to you for this support. Thomas and I loved doing the run, whenever it was 4 or 5 months ago, and we'll be back next year to do R+E+D, for sure. I've even started growing my hair into a red colour just for R+E+D, so I'll be there. Last thing I just want to say, we're incredibly careful with this money. Kath has been our CEO for 8.5, almost 9 years now, and she does an incredible job. We have a great board. Glenn Hordecker's here today, does a fantastic job. His company supports us financially, but he also is a great board member, and Bianca is here, our marketing manager, and they all work incredibly hard to make sure that every cent of this does what you want it to do, which is support children with cancer and their families. So from all three of us and all of us at the Childhood Cancer Association, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is just fantastic. Thank you very much.
Can we give Chris and Thomas and Imogen another great hand?